Hello, you're welcome to yet another awesome segment of the condominium group. And in today's segment, we are going to look at the biodigester. Yeah, we are looking at your plumbing today. So if you're new on this platform, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification button so that every time I post a content on this channel, you're able to receive it and watch it immediately. So in today's segment, we are looking at the biodigester. If you're interested in knowing what entails the biodigester, please stay tuned. Welcome back. Now, in your condo unit or in the condo community, there is a plumbing system that helps to make sure whatever happens in your toilet or in your bathroom or in your kitchen sink, whatever plumbing that is being used in your house is ending up in the right place. And that somewhere is the septic tank. So there is the traditional septic tank that everyone knows. Most houses that were built in the 90s have been built with the traditional septic tank, yeah? But because of the limitation of the traditional septic tank, innovations had to come in to improve the old septic tank that was being used. So, and that innovation came in the form of the biodigester. Most people wonder, you've installed for us a biodigester. How does it work? So most people don't know how the biodigester running their condo unit works or operates. So that is my work here today. I am here to give you an overview of exactly what happens inside the biodigester. Well, today I'm looking at the biodigester, but in the next segment, I will definitely go through how the traditional septic tank functions. So, what is the biodigester? Well, is a fecal waste decomposing mechanism where specific high-graded bacteria are used to transform fecal matter to water and biogas or methane gas. So, in simple terms, that is how I would define a biodigester. That is my definition of the biodigester. So, this right here is a real-life biodigester. It is made of a concrete. It is cylindrical, just as you see it right here. It is cylindrical, and then it is installed in the ground. You get a specific portion of the house or of your land, and this biodigester right here is installed right there in the ground. And it has to be some distance away from your house so that it doesn't affect the foundation of the house. I will explain later on how this may affect the foundation of the house. So this is what happens. This biodigester right here is installed. It has to be properly installed in the ground, and all the mechanism that it needs, that it was designed to be, or the modification that it was designed to function into, has to be embedded within here, So in this biodigester right here, there are some specific bacteria that operate in this biodigester right here. And there are some enzymes that are introduced into this biodigester to work as a catalyst. A catalyst means it speeds up the decomposition of the fecal matter or whatever comes from your house into this biodigester. Yeah. So what happens here is that everything from your house comes through into this inlet pipe. As you see right here, this inlet pipe carries everything from your bathroom, from your toilet, from your kitchen, from your whatever plumbing that is in your house is carried through this pipe right here into the septic tank. Yeah. And this time the septic tank is the biodigester. So as you're seeing this movement right here, this media or this fecal matter comes into this biodigester and settles in the bottom. All the solids settles in the bottom right here. So the thing with the biodigester, everything from your house comes through into this inlet. What makes the biodigester unique is the specific, highly graded bacteria that are introduced into this biodigester to help to decompose the fecal matter. So these bacteria are very highly graded in that they decompose every solid that is deposited into the biodigester so fast. They decompose it so fast with the help of the enzymes that are introduced into it to catalyze the whole process, to speed it up. Decomposes all the fecal matter, every solid within here decomposes, the bacteria decomposes it and turns it into water and a gas called methane. So this methane gas is actually biogas. Yeah. So the environment within the biodigester has to be made so conducive for the catalyst, the enzymes that have been introduced into this biodigester and the bacteria that has been introduced into this biodigester, so that its functionality is not compromised, so that the enzymes and the bacteria continue to function within this biodigester with the capacity, the highest capacity that they are supposed to function in. Because of this conducive environment that has to be maintained within the biodigester, water from the kitchen is diverted away from the biodigester because it contains fats and grease, which is not conducive for the enzymes and the bacteria which have been introduced into this biodigester to help in decomposing the fecal matter. So the kitchen pipe is diverted away from the biodigester right from the house. It is diverted away from the biodigester, just as you see right here, and what is called the grease interceptor is where the water from your kitchen goes to. The grease interceptor is right here. This right here where the red arrow is the grease interceptor. So what happens is the water from your kitchen comes right here, and then in this there is this red demarcation right here, and then there is this green line right here. There is a break that is created, yeah, with in this part right here with the green line to demarcate, to create some kind of a barrier. What happens is when the water from the kitchen comes into this grease interceptor, the fats will float. Normally, fats and grease float on top of the water. So the fats and grease and other items will float on top of the water, so that water from the kitchen, clean water from the kitchen without the grease, will pass down here, down where you see this yellow line, will pass through here and go into this pipe right here, the red pipe, as it is going, and then it goes into what is called the soak pit. This water does not go through the biodigester because its component of the grease and the fats is not very conducive for the enzymes, yeah, for the enzymes and the bacteria within the biodigester. So what happens is these fats that are blocked from coming through into this other pipe that is going in the soak pit, in the grease interceptor, this fats remains here. So it's only the water, as you can see, most of the water here that has gone through towards the soak pit is cleaner You can see on top here, I've tried to present it, that the solid matter, the fats have reduced. Yeah, of course a few will escape, but not so much. So this clean water right here goes into the soak pit, but it is diverted from going into the biodigester because its component is not so conducive for the biodigester and its components. So there is always, for the biodigester, there is a diversion which uses the grease interceptor to divert the water from the kitchen away from the biodigester. The trapped grease is removed and thrown away. Yeah. So that what goes into the soak pit is simply water. Yeah, and no grease. Of course, some little will escape. It's not harmful, but most of it at least is removed off. Yes. So having said that, let's now see what exactly happens inside the biodigester. Now, when all the fecal matter reaches the biodigester, the whatever, everything thrown into the toilet comes into the biodigester. So as I've tried to illustrate right here, when all this comes into the biodigester, most of the solid stuff will sink into the bottom of the biodigester. And so the enzymes there and the bacteria, they keep on doing their part of making sure every solid is decomposed and turned into water and the methane gas, yeah, and some carbon dioxide, which is released into the atmosphere. So as you can see, the biodigester has an inspection point. That inspection point is put there so that, people are very funny. You know very well you're not supposed to throw certain things into the toilet. You're not supposed to flush everything into the toilet, but you find people throwing things rather than what is supposed to go there. Yeah, so there are things like diapers and all that are thrown into the toilet, which find their way into the biodigester. But the biodigester is protected not to allow any of such things inside it. So you'll find that all these things that are not supposed to enter into the biodigester clog within this area right here, this inlet area. They clog right there. And so that is why they need to be an inspection point, so that in case there is a blockage by all these things that have been thrown, you can open this and inspect and remove whatever is clogging there, or whatever is blocking the way of the biodigester, so that only what is supposed to go through the biodigester goes through it. So when all this happens, when the real matter, the fecal matter that is supposed to go, a lot of water that flashes from all the condo units. Imagine a condo community with over 70 apartments, yeah, or with over 70 condo units. That means there's a lot of water that is being flashed down the toilet, and all this water ends up into the biodigester. Imagine all the fecal matter is also being transformed into water. So there is a lot of water that is being generated. Actually, if the water is not diverted into the soak pit, it is diverted into a water treatment plant. I'm telling you, this water can be treated and sent back to your house to be used for drinking, cooking, and everything. So it is treated in such a way that it becomes very clean. Yeah, it is clean, but it's not safe. It can only become safe after you've boiled it very well. Then it can become safe. So as this water is taken back to your house, if you're using it for domestic purposes, then you need to boil it very well. But mostly this water, when it goes through the treatment plant, the water treatment plant, it is normally used for irrigation. People use it for irrigating the plants, maybe for washing their cars. That is, if this water has been diverted to be reused, yeah. But most of us here in Uganda, this water is directed straight to the soak pit. So the soak pit, what the soak pit does, this is the soak pit right here, which is filled with stone. This right here, plumbing people know what this means. So it's filled like this with stone, and then afterward it's covered with polythene. Afterwards, this area right here covered with the stone is the soak pit. The plumbers will understand this best. This helps the water coming from the biodigester to be soaked into the ground. All this water is soaked into the ground if it is not being reused. All this water coming from the biodigester is soaked into the ground. This is how it looks like when it is finally completed. It's covered by this polythene. Even the biodigester is covered. This is now a completed work with all the inspection points, so that in case there is a clogging later on, this has normally a cover which can be opened, and then you inspect, remove whatever is not supposed to be there, and then you put it back. Yeah. So because of the ability of the biodigester to turn all this fecal matter into water and methane, which can be put back into the ground, that is why it is becoming more adapted into the current construction mechanism or the construction projects. So actually, this is how the grease interceptor and the biodigester look like when they have been finally installed and are ready to be covered with soil and ready for use. Once the biodigester and the grease interceptor have been installed properly, they can function so well in that you will not need these exhausting not need the septic tank to be exhausted or to be emptied. The condition within the biodigester is made so conducive so that it becomes a bacteria incubator. Remember, in the biodigester, we need bacteria to decompose all this fecal matter so that it is turned into water and the methane gas, which is then released into either the soak pit, the water plant, the water treatment plant, or any other media that you would like that water to go to. Once the biodigester and the grease interceptor is done well, it will function so well that you won't even need to empty your septic tank. The traditional septic tank, you have to empty it every now and then. With the biodigester, there is no emptying. Emptying is reduced completely because all the fecal matter is turned into water and methane. Yeah, so you don't need to empty it, which is very good because emptying the septic tank every now and then is very expensive. So the reason why we had to upgrade from the traditional septic tank to the biodigester is because of the many advantages that it comes with. What are some of those advantages? Let's look at them. The biodigester is quite cheap to install. Compared to the traditional septic tank, the biodigester needs very little space to be installed. The traditional biodigester you need to install in quite a bigger space compared to the biodigester. So installing it is cheap. It is cheaper to purchase and install as well. So it becomes a more convenient mechanism of the septic tank than the old one. Little or no maintenance is required at all with the biodigester. You don't need to empty. All the fecal matter is turned into water and gas. So you don't need to empty. You don't need to maintain it in any way. Maybe once in a while you can open the inspection point and you remove all these things that people have thrown into the toilet that are blocking the inlet of the biodigester. But otherwise, there is really very little maintenance with the biodigester. The biodigester does not need emptying. Compared to the traditional septic tank, you need to empty it. You bring a truck to empty all that matter that has been rotting in the septic tank. With the biodigester, you don't need to empty it in any way, so it becomes more convenient. Emptying the septic tank is very expensive, so it becomes very convenient for the user. The biodigester becomes very convenient for the user. Because there is no fecal matter being exposed at all, everything is enclosed within the biodigester, there is no smell at all that comes through. If it is installed well, there is no smell that comes through whatsoever. So compared to the traditional one, which smells when it is especially full and needs to be emptied, it kind of brings out a very bad smell. With the biodigester, there is no smell at all. So it becomes so convenient to the end user. The biodigester is very safe to the environment. Do you ever imagine where all this fecal matter that is removed from the traditional septic tank is dumped? They are dumped in rivers, in lakes, in water bodies. They are dumped in the environment. You don't want to pass around the areas where these fecal matters are being dumped. It is so messy, it is so hazardous to the environment. You find that things such as cholera and dysentery start coming up because of such things. Yeah, so the biodigester, you don't need to empty it. Everything is decomposed within there and turned into water, and so you don't need to empty or dump its component anywhere. There is no mess at all, so it is so convenient to use. The biodigester structure is very strong. It is made by reinforced concrete structure, which makes it to last a little more longer. It lasts longer than the traditional septic tank. The biodigester, its design, it is designed to last long. So the biodigester doesn't need a lot of space. You just need a small space to install it. So it makes it very user-friendly in terms of people who don't have enough space to install the bigger septic tank. They use the biodigester, which needs a very little space to install. The concept of the biodigester originated from people who wanted to use the methane gas or the biogas for energy. This gas is very useful. If you harvest it from the biodigester, you can use it for cooking like any other normal gas. You can use it to produce electricity. So it is a good gas that helps, that can be reused. The water from the biodigester can be used as well. The gas can be reused as well. So it is kind of a very good innovation. So that is all about the biodigester. I hope I've been able to increase on your knowledge. I hope I've explained better. You've understood what the biodigester is, so that the next time someone is telling you about digester, you know what it means, you know how it functions, you know why it's replacing the traditional form of the biodigester. So if you're new on this platform, please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button. You can leave me a comment in the comment section so that every time I post, you're able to receive that video and watch it. That is all I had for you today. Thank you so much and see you.